MPulse Summit wants to welcome you to our 7th year. I cannot believe it's been 7 years. And this year is Restore 25. It's been 7 years of transformation, 7 years of elevation, and 7 years of divine impact. MPulse 2025, this is the year of restoration. And Restore 25 is our charge for the season. To rebuild, renew, and reclaim all that has been lost or broken. Joel 2:25 declares, I will restore to you all the years that the locusts have eaten. And this is the year where God restores our time, our purpose, our vision, and our power back into our hands. This is our season to rise, to be renewed, and to walk in the fullness of his promises. Now, what to look forward to at Restore 2025? We're building your vision with powerful speakers and spiritual guidance to fortify your purpose, renewing your mind with deep discussion panels and workshops designed to shift your thinking and to elevate, and reclaiming your power by networking with faith-based driven leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives. And let us not forget reviving your spirit. Remember, this is not just about business, but it's about aligning with divine destiny and stepping into greatness. MPulse Summit 2025 is here, and this is not just a conference. This is a movement, a spiritual enrichment gathering where faith meets action. So get ready to restore, rebuild, and rise, because this is your year. Hello, everyone. Such an amazing time that we're about to have this evening. My name is Micheline Barber. I'm the visionary founder of MPulse Summit. I want to welcome you to Restore Now. What is Restore Now? If you've never heard about it, never heard it before, never mentioned it, it is time right now that you're here, and I'm so glad about it. I'm here to motivate, inspire, impact the minds of millions one at a time. It's the 7th year for MPulse Summit. This is a year of restoration, and we want to join you in on this Restore Now podcast to learn even more about MPulse Summit and about this amazing, beautiful spirit that we're about to bring on the screen to you. Go ahead and tag someone. Go ahead and tell someone. She's a woman of faith. She's powerful in everything that she do. She's an advocate. She is the owner and founder of Uptown Diva Hair Studio. She has a heart of gold and is bigger than life. And we want to honor her today and welcome her here. Y'all, please put your hands together for my sister, my friend, Miss Tameshia Hicks out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Hello.
Hello, sister.
How are you?
Good. I feel like I ain't seen you in a long time. You know,
right? I know.
Listen, you're a community advocate. You are a salon owner. You are a hair restoration queen. And you're out of Jacksonville, Florida. Did you know that this is what you're going to do? Did you know that this is who you are?
No, I did not know. It has always been in my spirit.
Okay.
But I never knew that this is what God chose for me to do. When I was younger, I always looked at other people doing hair. Whenever my mom would take me to the salon, I watched the stylist closely to see what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And I always said, I feel like I could do that. But because I felt like it wasn't a guaranteed job, and, growing up, my parents said, go to school, get a good government job, stay on the job 20, 30 years, retire, and get your Social Security. So I believe that, but in my spirit, never felt that. So when I was working in corporate America and got laid off from my job after having one of my children, I decided I didn't want to give someone that power over me again to be able to say when I could work and when I couldn't work. I just had no clue that God would point me in the direction of something that I've always loved to do. And that was being a cosmetologist. Because truth be told, I probably was a cosmetologist since I was about 10.
Yeah, we don't realize our baby dolls are one thing, but one thing that we always say at MPulse Summit that is bigger than hair.
Mm-hmm.
And why we say that it's bigger than hair is because we're discussing one thing with hair and things, but we also talk about the heart of it all. The heart of it all. This is your what year with us?
I believe this is my 3rd year. I believe I went to Breathe. I can't remember. Like before 2020 is kind of a blur.
Right.
But I know I went to Breathe. I've been to Victory, and now I'm coming to Restore. But Believe, Restore is one I'm coming to now, and Victory. And I believe I went to Breathe, but I can't quite remember if I went to that one.
Yeah. So those are Breathe was our last one that we had in Columbia, South Carolina. But either way, I know you've been connected with us the whole time.
Yes.
So when you're coming there, you found us. How did you find MPulseSummit? How did you come about MPulseSummit? Because we wasn't doing a Restore Now podcast, but it had to be something. What pulled you towards us?
You had done a live on Instagram, and I said, "Oh, I know Mitch." I said, "Let me listen to what she's saying," because I knew you from previous other things. And I listened, and I said, "You know what? I think that's something that I need to go to," because at the time we were kind of a little past the pandemic, especially for the Believe tour. We were past the pandemic, and I felt like, okay, God, you're going to have to tell me what to do in this business, because things are, clients are not coming in as much because they're scared. I don't know if I really want to continue, because the risk of someone coming in and I get sick, or someone in my family or whatever. So I said, Lord, you got to help me to understand what it is that you want for me to do in this business. I know what I've been doing all this time, but what do you want me to do going forward? So when I listened to that live that you had, I said, okay, God, I'm going. Now you're going to have to figure out the details, because I have no clue how I'm going to get there, but I'm going. So I think he was waiting for my yes. And once I gave him that yes, then he orchestrated everything else.
And, one thing I noticed about you is that, with you being in this, game of just hair, right? Because when I say a game, and when people say that, it's an up and down. It's almost like that little teeter when it was a game, it goes up, you win sometimes, you lose sometimes, but you're still in the game.
Right.
But your salon feel more like a mission feel, like, in your workspace, that you're keeping people motivated around you, even when you're not motivated. You keep people, just passionate about it, even when your passion has ran out. Tell us what Uptown Diva Salon really stands for, because I know it's not just a name, and it is what it stands for. What does it stand for?
Well, Uptown Diva Salon stands for that woman that knows that she's greater than what she's feeling like, what she looks like, what other people have told her that she is. She knows that she's greater than that. But she needs that comfort. She needs that rest. She needs that relaxation to help her to regroup. So when a client comes into Uptown Diva Salon, they are there by themselves. There are no other clients there. So they can feel comfortable with coming in and sharing what's actually going on with their hair. They can share what's going on in their lifestyle that may be affecting why their hair is doing what it's doing. So they don't have to worry about someone looking at them to say, oh, her hair looks bad, or, oh, what's going on with her, or why does she, respond that way? They don't have to worry about that. So it gives them that VIP exclusive environment where they could let loose. Also, I am big on helping the woman to see what God sees in her. Mm-hmm. So when you come there, whether you believe in God or not, you're going to know that he's in the room. That's it. That's it. You're going to know that he's in the room.
Right.
I'm talking to the beauty professionals here. Do you feel like in 2025, you are in this thing all by yourself? I'm going to be transparent. I don't feel quite alone, but in some aspects I do. It is so much to unpack, but you are not by yourself. There is a community of beauty professionals ready, willing, waiting to help you through this time. And that is the MPulse Summit. This is like no other summit that I went to. Like most of us think that we're going to a hair show or we're going to just take classes. We're going to see some new techniques. I'm here to tell you, it's not like that. You are going to an event that is going to rally around you, pour into you, to support you, to uplift you, succeed in your business and in your life. That's going to help you with your mental health, with your spiritual health. You are going to go to an event that is going to push those buttons that make you say, I gotta deal with this. I gotta pour this out so I could be poured into. Some of us have been fighting, crying, praying, fasting, trying to figure out what is it that's going to help me to overcome? How am I going to be able to make it? Do I stay or do I go? So I'm going to say to you, click the link below to register if you haven't already. You are going to a movement to help you to be the better you that you were created to be. Click the link below to register if you haven't already.
What if your next breakthrough wasn't in another video, but in a room filled with people who believe?
So if there's one particular specific area where you know you need immediate transformation, what would that be?
My mindset, just changing how I think about, my business. I need some healing. I really do. With this industry, you can get hurt in this industry as well. Trying to move from that hurt and just become, spiritually healed or whatnot. I know it's all a process, and it's a process that I'm willing to endure. Those basically the main ones, the healing and the changing of my mindset and my business structure.
We're coming together to reset our minds, restore our hearts, and reclaim the calling we almost gave up on. MPulse Summit Restore 2025. Register now.
That's what we always say in MPulse Summit. If you don't want to hear him, see him, or know about him, this is not for you.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that it's a ministry in our industry. And that's what God is just keep telling me to keep saying, is ministry in the industry. And that's what we need to pull back on and pull back into everything, because we have been programmed to not say it, programmed to not even mention. Like you said, your family was programming you to go to school, get a license, get a certificate or get a plaque and say, this is what I do. And now go get a job. But it was clear that God spoke something different to you about the healing in the industry that needs to be done. Like you said, I wrote down here to show women to see what they don't see. So that moment when God made it clear to you, what did that look like? Because I think sometimes we don't really recognize it. Because I had to ask a young lady the other day, I said, how did you know that God wanted you to be a minister, because I've been pulled to that. And I don't play with God. I don't play with what he's telling me to do. And, you know, sometimes I'll be pushing up against the grain when I'm like, nah, and I'm not, I know that's not him. I know that's not him telling me to do that, you know, but it was clear. He made that clear for you. What did that look like for you? Because the same thing that you're seeing, someone else may be ignoring that.
So when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a nurse. And I went to something and the speaker said, write down what you want to be when you were younger. What did you want to be when you were younger? And I wrote down, I wanted to be a nurse. And he said, after we wrote it down, he said, you are what you want it to be, just in a different capacity. Exactly. And when he said that, I was like, wow, okay, so I'm not a nurse in the hospital, but I'm a nurse in the salon. Mm-hmm. I'm able to nurse back someone's hair or their thoughts of themselves or just their confidence in what God gave them. So when he brought it to me that I was going to be a cosmetologist, I like I said, I had lost my job and I was distraught. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I have 3 children. I have a newborn baby. I don't know what I'm going to do. And my aunt asked me, she said, what are you going to do now? And I said, I have no idea. And she said, why don't you do hair? You do everybody else's hair now anyway. Why don't you do what you've always said that you love? And I said, okay, I'll look into it. And that was all it took. God said, okay, I'm going to take you fast forward into your life and show you what I have for you. And it seemed like it was hours and hours of him just pouring into me. And I was like, Lord, like I had no clue this is what you wanted me to do. And he said, okay, I'm going to bring you back and let's begin. Yes, and I was like, all right, God, this is what we doing, but you going to have to tell me how to do this because I have no clue. I'm not from Jacksonville, so I don't know where to even start. I don't know what school to go to or whatever. And he just said, all I needed was your yes. And because you gave me that yes, now I'm going to use you to pour into other people. I'm going to use you to nurse other people back to me.
So there's so many things I've written down in this because my mom was supposed to be a nurse. Let me say that. That's what they said. That's what she wanted to be. But she's a cosmetologist, right? Mm-hmm. And she can mix up some things, not just in the hair to make people's hair grow. And she mix up things to make people's spirit is good, right? Mm-hmm. We don't realize that the hospital is one thing, but there's a hospital inside of us. And there's one that's inside, that's behind our chair. So the healing that you bought, that you thought through nursing, which is the same thing, because there's only 3 people licensed to touch another person. That's a cosmetologist, a nurse, or a doctor, or a mortician. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. Most nurses become cosmetologists. Most cosmetologists are nurses. That's just it's how it works. But it's a healing in that ministry that's there. And I always say my pulpit is different. So MPulseSummit is like the hospital where you come there for healing because there's people who come there that's broken. And when you found us in a time when, let's just say it was belief. You had a disbelief because of what you just said was you didn't know how, and your job didn't let you go. God released that. Mm-hmm. That's why he had to release it, because sometimes what we don't realize is we're holding on to things that he said, let go. Right. And there's things that we hold on to that we don't realize that God said, I want to show you your abilities in this facet. And so there's a moment when you had a client transformation that, I know brought you to tears, that brought you to say the aha, that let you know that there's hair care that's way beyond anything, and it's a healing. What was that moment, that story that you can tell an individual, or maybe individuals that brought you to tears when you healed them in so many ways?
I had a client one time come sit in my chair, and she called prior to setting up the appointment to ask me a lot of questions about what do I do? Are there going to be other people sitting in the salon? So I answered her questions, and she said, I appreciate you, answering, but I'm still a little nervous. And I said, you don't have to be nervous. You can come and, sit down. We'll talk. I'll do your consultation. We'll talk about your hair. So when she came in, she came kind of all covered up. And I said, it's okay. You're safe here. And she said, okay, I feel a little bit more relaxed, but I'm still nervous. And I started asking her some questions, and she answered my questions. And she said, I don't know what it is, but I'm just telling you everything. Like, I don't normally share this with other people. And I said, because this is a safe space. You don't have to worry about someone judging you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you heal from whatever it is that's going on. And I did her hair, and we talked during the process. And when she left, she had the biggest smile on her face. And she was like, Tameshia, thank you so much. You made me feel like the woman that God created me to be. I said, because he doesn't want you to be ashamed. He doesn't want you to feel covered up. He wants you to shine. He wants his light to shine through you. So it was just my job to let out the light. That's all it was.
That's it. And so with that experience, I hear safe space. I hear healing. I hear conversation. And when people are coming in there with the lack of just feeling good about themselves, because it's not just about the hair portion of them losing their hair, but they felt like they lost a piece of them, and you helped put the puzzles back together. That's what I found even more now with, watching the videos that you've done about MPulseSummit. You did one right after the last one. It was funny, but yet it was just so serious how you said, this is how MPulseSummit left me. It just shambled, and just like, oh my God, there is hope at the end of the rope.
Right.
There is hope at the end of the rope. There is somebody in the Jacksonville surrounding areas, right, that's looking for a safe space, that's looking for that healing past the hurt. They can find it at Uptown Studio Salon, right? But what is that person that you're looking for to draw? What is that ideal person or person that you want to come into the space that you have created?
The ideal client that I would want to come in is someone who understands that it's more than just hair. Your hair is a reflection of what your body is saying, what your body is doing. If your body is broken, if your body is sick, then your hair will be broken and your hair will be sick. So I'm looking for that person who says, this is not who I am. I know that there's greater, there's better. And I need someone to help me, to assist me. And they're not afraid to say, okay, I've done all that I could do. I need help. So let me find someone that could truly help me. Someone that's not out there to judge me. Someone that's not out there to tell me, oh, you could do this yourself. You could figure this out. No, someone to truly help me to navigate all the lies that I've been told, all of the thoughts that have been put into my head to make me believe that I am less than. No, someone that's going to say, no, you were created for a time such as this. You were created for greatness. You were created in God's image. So let me help you see what that image is. Let me help you see what God has created for you. And we might not be able to do it all in one time, but over time, of us meeting and us talking, to me, it's not even about the hair. Most of my clients that come to me, they will tell you, I came in there for one thing and you had me do something totally different than what I came in there for. Because God, when I have a client, God speaks to me. He will tell me, okay, yeah, I know she says she wants that, but no, she can't have that. And I'll tell them, I'll say, look, I'm sorry, but I know that's what you came in for, but this is what we need to do first. We need to work on, we got to get rid of the minutia. We got to get all that stuff out the way. And now let's deal with the raw. Once we deal with the raw, then we can get to the diamond. We can get to the diva because we've gotten all that stuff out of the way.
I like it. I like it. There's somebody out there looking for you. And that's what I feel, because before you go into your place of business, you put God first. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at something, this gentleman that was at the BET Awards, right? And they did not air this portion of it. And the guy kept saying, put God first, put God first. And that's what I felt like you did, that you put God first and you believed him when you could not trace him, and you found your way in the seats of MPulseSummit the very first year. What has been your experience at MPulseSummit every year that you've been there?
It just gets gooder and gooder. When I came to believe, like I said, I had no idea how I was going to get there. God just said, go, and I went. And the transformation that I had while I was there, like I couldn't even sleep. I told my husband, I said, I don't know what's going on, but I can't sleep. Like, I'm not a morning person, but I was up at 6 a.m. to go to breakfast. And what's wrong with you? I said, I don't know, honey, but I have to go. I can't stay in the bed. I got to get up. I got to go. I need to see what else is there for me. And then when I went to Victory, I was claiming, I said, God, okay, I did believe because I believe in you. I trust in you. I said, now this time I'm claiming victory. I said, I don't know what is going on in the world. I can't worry about that. I said, but I am claiming victory over my family, myself, my salon, our industry. I said, this is the year. I said, 2024, 2025 is my year. I'm claiming it and I'm going to receive it. So when I left Victory, I said, okay, I have some things I have to do. Now, some things I knew and some things I didn't. And when 2025 came in, boy, God took me like a whirlwind. And I was like, okay, God, what we doing? Where we going? What direction? And he has blown my mind this year of the things that he has allowed me to accomplish. But it was the filling, the pouring out of myself, pouring out Tameshia, getting rid of Tameshia and letting God pour into me. And I received that when I went to MPulseSummit. Every time it was a little bit out of me and more of him. So every time I went, I got rid of me and more of him.
You released yourself even more. Like I said, just being in the building, you found your family, you know, and your husband was there with you. And like you said, he witnessed, because we had another young lady said, I'm not a morning person, but I found myself running downstairs, right? You know, I always tell people, like, you find yourself coming early and leaving late, and sometimes not want to leave at all, because you found the like-minded individuals that understand your purpose, your pain, your drive, your vision. They are in a circle, and the circle just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I always tell guys, send the right people. The right people that need to hear, the right people that need to see what it's about, just the restoration part of it. So let's talk about restore. You know, you're always helping others renew their outer image. how do you restore yourself from the inside when life gets heavy? Because I witnessed that, one time with you when you were saying what you lost, the things that you did not know where you was going to get it from. How did you restore yourself? And how could you tell someone else how to restore themselves?
Well, I took a lot of what I learned from MPulseSummit and I went back to that. When I was in a space where I was like, I don't know, this is not working. I can't do this. I went back to look at some of the old videos or look at some of what I recorded. And I said, okay, I know this is you, God. I know this is my purpose. So help me to pull in what I've heard, what I've learned, what I've seen, who I've connected to. And just sometimes seeing you on a live and you're talking about, restoring and getting back what the enemy tried to take from us, that helped me to say, okay, I could keep going. And because I know this is my purpose, I'm like, God, I can't let you down. You purposed me for this, so I'm going to do this because this is what you commanded me to do on this earth. I once had to do a exercise where I had to write my own obituary. Mm-hmm. And it was hard. I was like, I don't want to do this. But in writing it, I said, Lord, when my time comes and I leave this earth, I want to be empty.
That's it.
I want you to use whatever it is that you put inside of me to pour into others, to pour into the industry or pour out into my family. I want to leave this earth empty.
That's it.
I don't want to have no regrets as to say, oh, I didn't do this because I was too scared, or I didn't do this because I didn't know how it was going to work out. I'm going to do it regardless, because if he tell me that's what I'm supposed to do, that's what I'm going to do.
That's it.
Lord have mercy. The whiskey got them bang. Live in the building. Yeah. I dance on my dance here. You ready? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Yeah. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Where the fans at?
so MPulse Summit woke you up. And it was a shift in your identity because of the quiet meekness. Now you're walking bolder, and you identified your vision. You identified your purpose and how you show up in the industry. How was that shift? And how did MPulse Summit help you with that?
Well, I've always said I'm a behind the scenes person. I don't have to be in front of the camera. I don't want to be in front of the camera. But I was like, okay, Tameshia, I've been told many times people need to hear what you have to say. And I'm like, nobody cares about what I'm saying. I tell it to my clients because it's just me and them, but I don't need to be on social media. I might do a post or whatever. And I keep hearing over and over again, people need to hear what you have to say. And then when I get on the camera, God will give me what to say, because most of the time I don't know what I'm going to say. And when I try to practice it, it doesn't come out the way that I should have said it. But when I do it off the cuff, he's able to give me what I need to say. So at MPulse Summit, I did that video and I was nervous.
It was so true.
I was nervous, but I wanted to share my experience. And I felt like if I shared my experience for someone who is afraid or someone who doesn't know what their purpose is, that maybe that video would help them to say, you know what, if she could do it, then I could do it. Yeah. So I've watched other people and I say, oh, if they could do it, I think I could do it. I'll try it. I'm not afraid to try something. I just felt like I wasn't supposed to be in front of the camera, but
we got shoot that video. Because that video, after the summit, leading up to the summit, say that there's so much going in my head and my heart and my mind. Just, I got 20 million heads, working in different, and sometimes I don't see things until after the fact. And when I see them after, that gives me that last push, that, to keep going through, because you're like, okay, God, you did it again. And why should I do it again? Mm-hmm. And seeing your video or other testimonies that people have sent, this is why, Micheline. This is your why. This is why I'm always pushing you. I'm gonna ask you this, and everybody love the ice cream Cold Stone. Shout out to Cold Stone. But there's something that God is telling you that Tanisha loved to do, Tanisha liked to do, and then Tanisha has to do. Like, what is those three things? Let's start with the like. What's some of the things that you like to do? And
Well, I'm a big crafter. I like to build. I like to do crafts. So I will get in. I have a little Cricut, and I'll get in and cut stuff out and make things or whatever. And I'm a fixer-upper too. So I'll take something and make it into something new or whatever. I love to dance.
Okay.
I just like being with my family and friends, just being around them. I'm real simple. I don't have to do a whole lot, but I just like to have new experiences with my family, my husband, my children and grandchildren. So those are some of the things that I like, but I really like to do different crafts, come up with different things.
So and I say that word restore coming back in there, because you like to take old things and put in the new.
Yes.
Now what's the love? What's the love portion that
well, I love doing hair. Mm-hmm. I do. I also love spending time with my family. What's another love? I love to do a lot. I love music. I love music. Different types of music, like listening to certain types of music helps my creativity.
Oh, yeah.
So when I listen to like a soft like maybe instrumental gospel, that inspires me to allow God to speak to me. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm listening to, say R&B, it might inspire me to do something as creative. When I'm listening to gospel, like I said, it just inspires me to know what God has for me to do. Or when he's speaking to me, when my spirit is low and he wants to uplift me, then gospel actually helps me there. I do love a little rap every now and then. It just depends.
I'm just saying, I love different things because, like, when I start my day off, of course, I put my oil up, but I have to play certain music depending on whether it's, soft style or whether it's, a little Leandra Johnson, which I absolutely love her. Things like that I love to do. And family is first, too. I love my family. And that's what I love, that we have a family affair in MPulseSummit. And then the thing is, what do you have to do? What is that for a fact you have to do?
I have to be obedient. I have to be obedient to God. I know that there are times when I have said, God, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. And he said, okay, I'll wait. And I'm like, okay, all right. I got it all out. I'm going to do it, God. I know I'm supposed to. I'm going to do it. And I have to be true to myself. I have to be true to who he made me, how he made me. I can't be anybody any different. I know I had a client tell someone about me, and she said, yes, my stylist, she does hair, she does really good, but she's about healthy hair. I don't care what you tell her when you go there. If it's not going to make your hair better, she's not going to do it. So you have to understand that when you go, you're going to get what you're going to get if it is in line with healthy hair. If it's not, she's not going to do it.
That's it. And I know that somebody that's looking for that safe space is somebody who's wanting, like I hear a lot of people returning back into the salon and say, I want to wear my own hair. Mm-hmm. I want to be comfortable in my own skin. So if there's someone out there that's sitting in the audience, right? Because there's a lot of entrepreneurs, and with you being a stylist, an entrepreneur, a woman of faith, and you're doing this alone, and somebody, like you said, you went to MPulseSummit alone, you didn't know anybody. What would you say to that person who's sitting there saying, I'm by myself, I don't know where to go, I'm isolated, I'm discouraged, and I'm just tired. Like, I'm tired. What would you tell that person that they need to be in the seats of MPulseSummit, Charlotte, North Carolina, September 27th through the 23rd?
I would tell them, come join the family.
That's it.
We are a family. So when you have family surrounding you, you have people that are going to lift you up when you're down. You're going to have people that will carry you when you need strength. So if you are looking for rescue, you're looking for someone to help you, then you have to come to MPulseSummit, because you're going to get that load off of you. Someone's going to be on your right and on your left to say, okay, it's okay that you can't do this by yourself, but I'm going to walk with you. When you're in church and they say the doors of the church is open, come on. And they tell you, look to your right and your left. And if someone seems like they're not sure, tell them, give them your hand and tell them, I'll walk with you. So at MPulseSummit, you're going to have that person to say, I'm going to walk with you. Let's exchange phone numbers so that we can connect with one another. So that when you're feeling down, you have someone that you could pick up the phone and say, hey, I don't know what to do in this situation. Can you help me? Do you know someone that can help me? Or do you know a way that I could work this out? And you'll get that at MPulseSummit. It's not like any hair show or anything like that where people are trying to outdo one another. No, everyone there is there to help you. I just have to share this. My last MPulse Summit, I had plans and I had my reservation and stuff, and realized I can't do it. So I need some help. And I picked up the phone and I made a call, and I was able to receive the help. And it was at the last minute I was able to receive the help that I needed. So if you are feeling like I need help, but I'm out here by myself, you're actually not by yourself, because there are individuals at MPulse Summit, like myself, because I'm going to be there, that will be willing to come to you and say, look, don't worry, sis. Don't worry, brother. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I'll help you navigate where to go and who to talk to. I'll point you in the direction of where to go and help you there. And then afterwards we can connect. So now you have a sister or a brother that you can lean on when you need that help.
You know, there's something that I say more than anything, that the connection is not currency. The currency is connection. Mm-hmm. And when you are connected to people, we want to see you in the building. And it's not, like you said, it's not about the money, but it's about that passion, because there's so many people that said, because I came to MPulse someone I didn't have, and I won a scholarship or a match money, or someone gave me, you know, this or a place to stay, because I have given up my room for people to stay. And, you know, and I slept on the very first year I slept on in Charlotte. I was in North Carolina. I slept on the, my parents, this pull-out chair that they had, right? Mm-hmm. And I gave up my room twice because someone didn't have. And the replacement, what I got, the guy said, it's okay. You know, give it up. Mm-hmm. I gave up and I gained so much more. Most people are like, nah, I'm not giving up my bed. I'm tired. No, I slept sitting up, and it was the best, most refreshing feeling to me that God could ever give, because of my obedience. It's better than sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? And so I sacrificed something for the obedience of what God is telling me to do. And it's someone that's listening to this right now and saying, you got to be perfect. You got to be in position. You got to have it all. No, you don't. We just saying, if your heart is aligned with the assignment, God is going to get you there. And we're going to make sure that we are aligned with what he's telling us to do. You just have to be in the building to get restored, to believe, for victory. You got to be there, right? That he says, I'm going to build up every facet in your life that you thought. And so, like it says in Job 2:25, it is time for restoration, but he has to rebuild us, tear us down, rebuild us, revive, and then restore everything that he's telling us to do in due time. And so we thank God for what he's doing. All these offsite events that we're having, September the 27th through the 29th, we have our green boots on the ground event. That's going to be our off-site event, day event for that. We have our industry mixer, which is a popcorn with purpose event. That's a shades of blue. Last year, we discussed mental health. We discussed men on pause. So many things that we developed in that time period. People's going through divorce and financial hardships, and we were able to talk it out together and find solutions to problems. We have our PPBI Power Breakfast, and we have a Breakfast of Champions, and we have a signature VIP breakfast that's going to be happening as well. That's that 6:00 a.m. that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. We have our Sunday Post with Pastor Major Jones. We have our Cream Gala Award. That is, we're looking at individuals in the industry. It doesn't care how many likes, followers. We don't care about that. We care about your heart and what you're doing to bring someone to the ministry and the industry. And then we have the release ceremony. That happens on Monday afternoon. We tell people you don't want to leave early because you want to stay. We'll talk about that in a minute. With your signature VIP, which is what Miss Tameshia Hicks has, is you get your personal signature on paraphernalia, curated brand items to, you know, make sure that the experience is an experience. We have 3 virtual classes led by our expert sessions tailored to your goals to meet your goals. Premium seating and visibility, personal signature VIP seating, a signature promotion package. That means opportunities to enhance your brand visibility. All of these things, and we've added now a cocktail hour with the signature VIPs, along with the cupcake hour with the signature VIPs, and our signature VIP breakfast that we've added now to 2 days. So we're constantly adding onto the table. If that's you that we're talking to, go ahead and lock in. You simply can lock in with this QR code that's on the screen, or you can go to stand.store/MPulseSummit to get your tickets. You can get our tickets through Carno, Afterpay. We have so many methods to get your ticket. It's restoration time, and God said he sent it. Now he's going to rebuild it for us. Will that be you? And Tameshia, there's somebody out there that's sitting in the seats that's saying, I want to go, but how much is it? The price is this, all these excuses that we have for the experience. What would you tell the individuals that's out there that's second guessing whether they can invest in themselves, because that's what they're doing?
If you want change, you have to do something different than you've always done. You can't continue to do the same thing thinking that you're going to get a different result. So if you keep trying it yourself and it's not working over the years, you've done it the same way, you've done it the way your parents maybe told you or someone else told you, and it's still not working, then you have to try something different. And sometimes it comes at a cost. Because in order for us to make a change in our lives, or in order for God to make a change in our lives, it comes at a cost. He paid a cost for us. He paid a cost for a change in our lives. So in order for you to be able to do something different or have something different, you got to make a change. And it does come at a cost. But the cost is what you're going to gain from it. The cost is not even going to matter. It's not even going to matter. You're not even going to think about how much you spent to get to MPulse Summit. You're going to think about all the things that has happened to you during and after MPulse Summit. The cost is not even it doesn't even scratch the surface of what you get, of what you receive, of what you leave with. The cost is priceless.
It's priceless.
It's priceless.
Yeah. So many people say, you give out so much and, cut costs and you get, I tell people that it's God that paid the price. It's not me. It's God that paid the price. And sometimes people want to cut costs and go cheaper route. That God, he didn't build us to be cheap. And he did not build us to be fearful. We have to know that when he said do it, do it. And that's why he brought people like you to come across alive to say, listen, I know Mitch. I trust her, and I know she's not going to talk about anything that she don't believe in. That's just me. I've always been that way. And so now it is time for them to know. Join us. September 27th. It is September the 26th through the 30th. We're going to go ahead and add up.
Yes.
You don't want to leave. You don't want to come late. You don't want to leave early. It's restoration time. Joel 2:25 said it's time to rebuild, revive, and restore everything. Join us right here in Charlotte, North Carolina at the airport. You don't have to worry about anything. We got you the whole time that you're there. I always say, be in the building, be aware, and be around great people, because God is going to meet us and beat us there. And I always say this, Tameshia.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you.
And there is nothing you can do about it. Y'all have an amazing day. Love y'all.
Love you.